Hey, what's happening, everybody? We're going to talk about witness cones today and the importance of them. So let's take a peek at our kiln over here. So this is our kiln. There we have our thermocouple sticking out right there. That's going to read our temperature. And then just the inside of what your kiln looks like. So this is where the back of the thermocouple comes out and then goes to that board right there, and then all of my element wires connect and then come out of the back of that as well, and then that's on the back of the board, and then that is the control box. Now this is for an Amico kiln, Excel. Also it's basically rebranded Scott. So that's those, but let's talk about the importance of witness cones and why they're important. So we're going to come over here and set everybody down. So here are our witness cones. You say hi, come over here and say hi. Yeah. So this is what a cone 6 cone looks like before it goes through the firing. This is as the cone begins to melt. This is the cone continually melting. Hey, shush. And this is the cone perfectly melted, and then this is the cone that is too far melted. You say hi. Say hi. Oh, yeah. Go play. So, the importance of your witness cones. Shush. Goodness. Boy, this is just fun being a parent and shooting videos. Your thermocouple, as it sits inside the kiln, is reading the temperature of the kiln. Now, keep in mind, that is just going off of heat, whereas your cones are specifically formulated to go off the atmosphere that is inside the kiln. So for each shelf, say hi. Hi. For each shelf that I have in the kiln, I have 2 witness cones. I have cone 6 and then I have a cone 5. They're usually side by side. Now, in a perfect firing, my witness cones will come out like this. Cone 5 will look like so, which will be nice and melted. And then cone 6 will look like so, which will be perfectly melted. I put a cone 5 and cone 6 self-supporting cone, which means it has this little triangle and can hold itself up. I put one of each of those on each shelf in my kiln when I do a glaze firing. I fired a cone 6 in my kiln. Now, everything goes well, I should have this result. But the good thing is, by putting these cones in, it'll let me know if something doesn't go well. So case in point, I had my cone 6 come out like that. That tells me we were slightly under temperature, between 10 and 20 degrees, give or take. We didn't quite get there. Now, here's the opposite of what can happen. Let's say my cone 6 comes out like that, fully melted, versus coming out like so. That tells me that my kiln got up to almost cone 7, if not a little warmer. So while you have a thermocouple that is inside your kiln telling you, hey, yeah, we went to cone 6, you can use your witness cones to find out whether your kiln fires hot or too cool. Case in point, my one kiln that we just looked at, and actually let's go take another look again. So this kiln of mine is brand spanking new. It fires to cone 6 perfectly. I can tell it to go to cone 6 and it goes to cone 6. This kiln, which is a little older, and you can see the bricks aren't as nice, that sort of thing. We got some elements that are starting to creep out and all that sort of thing. This kiln, for whatever reason, if I tell the computer, which is back over here, to go to cone 6, it'll go to cone 7. However, once I put those witness cones in, if I tell it to go to cone 5 with a 55-minute hold, I get a perfect cone 6. So again, that is the importance of having witness cones inside your kiln, is that it can tell you and communicate with you clearly what is really going on inside your kiln based on the atmosphere. Shush. So by putting on that 55-minute hold, I take my cone 6, which is this one here, perfectly melts to that. So therein lies the importance of having witness cones inside of your glaze firings. Now, do I do them for bisque? Sometimes. So if I can kind of tell, hey, shush! If I can tell my bisque firing is, the bisque is coming out a little chalky, it still feels like clay versus feeling like bisque, then I'll put some witness cones in the cone 06 and 05 range, just to make sure my bisque firing is doing okay. Otherwise, I don't rarely put in cones for my bisque firing. So yeah, but every single glaze firing I do, I put in witness cones. Now, that can sound like, a wasteful thing to do, but it lets me know if my glaze firing is firing accurately or inaccurately, and then I have more information. So when it comes to pottery, the more information you can have, the better. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Also, one other bit. If you don't use kiln wash, your cones will stick to your shelf, especially the cone 5 because it fully melts. What I would recommend is getting a little pieces of broken kiln shelf. Shush! Broken kiln shelf and putting that on there. So that way you can just use that over and over again. So yeah. Shoot me an email or message if you guys have any questions, but that is a little bit about witness cones and the importance of them.